Today we're gonna be talking about Crimson Gray, or this series of, or what I like to call peak Yandere visual novel thing. I don't know. I'm still debating about this really weird theory I have on this game in particular. I don't know. I still need to flesh it out more, I guess. So basically, there's this really weird thing, right? This scenario within the game itself. I play part 1 and part 2. Right? There's a true ending, right? And John himself and many other timelines or whenever decision he makes, he either lives a happy life, which, just lives with Lizzie, they get married or something, to start a new life, to run away. Which is very easy to get, surprisingly enough. But the other endings you get is either Lizzie herself just goes psychotic and just with her battle axe, and yeah. And there's another where it's like you yourself become like dependent on the drug itself when you're antidepressant, because MC John himself canonically has like depression of some kind, or clinically depression. I don't know. It's never been really stated per se what type of depression he had, but yeah. Then there's this whole like plot about the medical industry that John has been using this medication on, have been secretly testing and may or may not potentially been taking corners, which might include more side effects on the medication that they themselves have not really said out loud publicly. And I was wondering about that, because we know within the story itself that Lizzie, right? So basically Lizzie herself, if I'm right, her mother and another woman as well, right, were part of some type of like drug experiment or something like that, like drug testing. And the thing was that she was pregnant during the time, which is usually a big no-no for most experimental drugs, because it's not really ideal to try out certain medication while you're pregnant, right? And for all we know, it is more than likely that that medication might have resulted in Lizzie herself canonically being overpowered or strong, or be partially responsible for her psychotic outbreak in life, I guess you could say. Because a lot of people haven't played part 2 of Crimson Gray, which takes after the true ending. Obviously the true ending is like, if I remember right, John basically gets kidnapped by I think he's not the government, but like by that company, and Lizzie comes out of her way to, actually save you. There's a bunch of steps you gotta do in order to get this ending, right? Because you can do everything right, but there's still a chance that she might have to like end you because you're not the same. Because they injected you with some type of serum. I don't remember what it was. But the point is, if I remember right, Lizzie and John, right? They go to university together, live together, but they see something on the news, which is this particular girl over here that has committed atrocities, unspeakable crimes against humanities, which seems to be heavily, I think it's heavily implied that this individual is also another individual that was also pregnant, another kid that was in the mother's womb at the time, right? Which may also suffer the same thing as Lizzie does. Because in part 2, whenever because you're playing as Lizzie herself, most of your choice sometimes gets if you like leave your mouse, it just slow moves to like the most dangerous choices out there. Her vision, the way she looks, everything changes, right? Doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl, she will get jealous regardless, and might even look at individual as either a slut or homewrecker, regardless of gender. But I was thinking about that, and I was like, there's one thing that has never made sense to me. And the thing is, why does John stay in the basement? Because in part 1 of the game, she kidnaps you. For the most part, this is largely due to her wanting you to to stop taking the antidepressant medication from that company. Boytech or something like that, I forget what it's called. So, the thing is this, right? John has to, canonically, have to be able to cut those chains off, which, you spend a good chunk of your dialogue or options when she's away to slowly gather the tools to break out of your chain so, you can try to escape. Right? And the other endings and paths, he can try to escape, but for the most part, it leads to his downfall, which Lizzie just pretty much goes for the kill. But there's one where if you don't try to escape or don't even try to take off the chains, she just lets you go, which is very weird. But the thing is this, right? So canonically, John has to get rid of those chains. When he does, it takes effort to get rid of those chains because you have to hide tools and slowly test out other tools bit by bit. And the thing is, even though he had the option to leave at that very moment, if you choose to stay, just waiting for her, John chooses to comfort Lizzie, saying that he's not gonna run away. He's gonna be there for her. And that has me thinking, well, why? Because it doesn't make sense. I understand from, our perspective, right, that, if you're kidnapped, our main goal is to escape from being held captive. Doesn't matter if we trust or love that individual. Our goal is to escape. Okay? I know that a lot of people be like, oh no, why would I escape from Yandere, etc., etc. I understand the whole part of the fan. But I always chalk that up to, fantasy talk. It's just fantasy at the end of the day. But if we were, in those positions, we would do everything in our power to escape at the end of the day. Right? And something about that never really made sense to me. And the more I think about it, I'm like, because the thing about the game is, I believe in order to get the good ending, right, you have to get the bad ending you have to get the bad ending at least once. Because then it prompts up the option, perhaps, in a different timeline or something along the lines of that, there would be a better outcome. As in luck or happiness. This is an individual meter that changes the outcome. Say if you click the same dialogue, it changes that outcome. That predetermined outcome. And I was wondering, what if John has the power to return by death? And I was thinking about it, because it doesn't really make sense for him to stay there. Unless he knows. I don't know. It's possible. Because he does suffer from some type of side effect from the medication he's taken. Because his vision does get gray. Because that's a common theme, that he sees the world more grayish, right? And it took only Lizzie to see more color. And I was wondering, what if one of those potential side effects from that company potentially made him given the power to return by death? And it's a really weird theory that I don't know. I'm still trying to think ways to prove it, or at least give partial credit to it, because we know Lizzie basically is a monster when it comes to raw strength. On top of that, allegedly being able to dodge bullets, because she stormed into a whole facility just to get John back. Was just an axe, just that. There's a lot to think about. I was like, I'm starting to suspect that maybe the narrator, after he dies, is actually John, and John just resets time, or goes to this last checkpoint. Because this could explain the save and load feature as well. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe John does have the power to come back by death or return by death. I don't know. It's a really weird theory I have on it, but I haven't like properly fleshed it out yet. I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot to think about. A lot of people don't really think too much about it. They're like, oh yeah, John just sat there, cared about Lizzie. They're like, he could have leave, but he chose not to, even though he went out of his great effort to literally not cut those chains off. Well, he cut his chains off and still chose to stay, which I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. I don't know. I don't know what your silly thoughts are on this, but I think about that a lot. At least for like a week straight, at least. It's like, I wonder why John canonically does all of that in order to just stay in the same spot.